Hello, my beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I appreciate your time as always. I know it's so valuable. So, thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video or listening to my video. Either way, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take a moment to congratulate every single one of you. I see the hard work that you're putting. I see the vulnerability that is going into putting yourself out there, trying new things, things that you're passionate about, sharing with the world. I love it. I love seeing that. I love seeing when we all come together, spreading goodness, spreading positiveness, spreading hope, spreading inspiration, spreading motivation. Like it's so needed, and I just love everybody for it. I think that at this rate, if we keep doing that, I have so much hope that we are really going to be in a great place of love and kindness, more so than just hate and negativity and just anything out there that just doesn't feel good. um, it's hard. The struggle is real. It's hard to put yourself out there to speak onto a camera, put yourself out there talking about whether it's a product, whether it's just something that you are promoting for yourself. If you started any kind of new endeavor and you're just wanting to just spread it out there, the information, like all of that is super hard. Coming on and just talking about sharing your own stories and just, anything that requires for you to put yourself out there, like it's hard, it's scary, it's intimidating. And you're not sure what kind of feedback you're going to be getting, if anybody cares. But let me tell you, like, none of that matters. None of that matters. If you're passionate about something, if you're wanting to start something new, oh my gosh, please, please, please keep doing it. Go after it. I promise you that there's so much space for each and every single one of us to thrive, to be successful, to share the platform. There's an audience for every single one of us. It doesn't matter if your audience require your family or friends. You're gonna get people that are going to relate to you, that are going to love what you have to say, that want that same joy and happiness that you're getting out of whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're promoting. We all want that. We all want that kind of connection. We all need inspiration, knowing that we're not alone, knowing that, oh my gosh, this person's going through that too, cool, like let me hear what they have to say. Or oh my gosh, like that person's skin looks amazing, like let me see what they're using, what they're selling. um oh my gosh, this person's fitness journey, like wow, like they did it, like they started and they haven't been giving up, and look how much they've come on their weight loss journey, or their eating habits journey, whatever it is. I think it's great. I think that's definitely the power of social media when it's done properly, spreading goodness and spreading positiveness, and just sharing. Just sharing is caring. Totally, 100%. Sharing is caring. So I think it's wonderful when we're able to do that. If you have a new venture that you're starting, like you may have your 9 to 5, your career, and you probably love it, and maybe there's more to you that you're wanting to put out there. Maybe there's another creative side to you that you want to explore more. Amazing, keep doing that. I think it's wonderful. I think it's needed, not just for what you're spreading, but like within yourself, the joy that I'm sure it brings to you. Just any of that, like I think it's wonderful when we have the opportunity to start something new, to go after the things that we're passionate about, things that we want to share, things that we want to be of service to. That's a beautiful thing. And if we keep moving forward, if we keep putting that step in front of that foot in front of the other, results will come, magic will happen, things will start to unfold. That I can promise you. I know that it'd be easy if you start a new business venture and your friends and family like were off the bat like your number ones, but it doesn't happen that way always, and that's okay if it doesn't happen that way. I ran a very successful business behind the chair for 20 years, and the last 10 were really my most successful. The first 10 were a struggle. And my clientele, yeah, I had friends and family, but I mean, it was maybe like maybe a quarter of my clientele were my friends and family. Everybody else were outside people. And I love that. I love it allowed me to grow because it allowed me to be around different personalities and different situations and really pushed me out of my comfort zone. So it's not a bad thing to have people that you would never expect, as your followers, as your clients, as your fans, as your audience, as whatever it is that you're putting out there. Like, just keep doing it. Don't be discouraged. Keep believing in yourself, and you will accomplish it all. I know that the other struggles that we come across, are all these generational traumas that, struggle with, like, changing it, and how do we make it better and how do we make it right so that our kids don't have to go through some of that. And you know what, it's all trial and error. Like, some cycles are easier to break than others, so I think taking it one thing at a time, one change at a time, focusing on what it is that you're wanting to change, why do you want to change it, and then just going for it, just doing it, just making that change. Like, it'd be nice and easy if we always had, a leader in the family to show us the way to, like, take those first steps so that we can just follow. But sometimes that leader requires for us to become those leaders, for us to become the game changers, for us to be the chain breakers, for us to be the ones to start new habits, and it is overwhelming, and it is hard. And sometimes, like, you even question yourself, like, am I even doing this right? And I don't think any of that matters, because it's going to be trial and error, and how you started may not look exactly how you're going to end, because we're constantly evolving. I think, again, what matters is just taking that first step, making that move, taking the initiative. Once you become aware that something has to change in your life, you just got to take action. It's just a matter of doing it, like, just doing it. If you're not happy in your job, if it's not your dream career, if it's not bringing you joy, what can you do about it? How can you put yourself out there in a different manner so that you can have the job that brings you happiness? If you're not in a relationship, any kind of relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship or an intimate relationship, that's not healthy or it's not bringing out the best in you, like, what can you do? If there's things that are out of your control because it's a requirement of the other person doing the work changing, then that's really the time for you to just walk away, leave that situation. And that's your first move into change. That's the first action that you're taking. Everything else will follow, and it'll start making sense. If it's a matter of, like, maybe you don't have the best communicative relationship with your children or your significant other, because that was never taught to you, and that's not how you were brought up. But that that's important. That that's what something that you want and you need. So then be the first one to start that, and be honest. You can be honest with your loved ones and be like, look, I wasn't raised this way. I don't even know how to get started. All I know is that I want it to be different for us. And then you start there. Like, you just start small, you start there and you build up. Like, everything, all of our goals should always be small, specific, and then you build off of that. You build off of all those goals. That's how you make them attainable, achievable, and you get to reach those goals and move on to another goal, is by just starting small and not having all the answers and not knowing how it all's going to look, or how it's going to pan out. And if it takes a turn for, like, a whole, like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, then change the course. Then that's you have the power. Nothing is permanent. You have the power to be like, okay, you know what, that didn't work out how I wanted it. Let's try it this way. Our kids want to know that we are just like them, in the sense that we're also vulnerable, that we are also not perfect, that we're gonna make mistakes. Like, at the end of the day, like, they want to know that we're not we're no different than them. They might think, oh, you don't get it, you don't whatever, right? And a lot of times it's because we don't share we don't share with them, what we went through or what we did or what happened to us when we were their age or when we experienced something like that. And so there's nothing for them to relate, for them to think even an ounce of us understands them. When we let them in, when we become vulnerable, when we build those types of communicative relationships with our loved ones, it's easy to bring compassion into our relationships. It's easy to build that trust and that bond because now they feel heard and seen and equal in that sense of like we're all humans and we're all going through the same struggles and we're all just trying to figure it out. If you find yourself being quick to lash out, being quick to have no patience, and it reminds you, it triggers you of like, damn, I remember that's how my mom, or that's how my dad, or that's how it was in my household, then make a note of that. Make a note of that. Be aware of that like action of yours, and find a way that is kind and compassionate towards yourself that allows you to start making the shifts, to start making those the proper changes so that you can get away from being that kind of reactive person and being more in the space of mindfulness and stillness so that you don't have to be so quick to react. It's not easy and it's not going to come overnight, but it will come if you put in the work, if you put in the consistency, and if you're honest with your people. Like we all need each other's support. I'm very open in my household, and my kids, probably for like the past, I don't know, 3 maybe 4 years, I make them fully aware of when it's the time of the month for me. And I do it for many reasons. One, because I normalize it. I want my son to grow up with a sense of sensitivity towards females during that time, especially someone like his sister, his future girlfriend, and obviously his future wife. And I make it normal for my daughter so that she never feels ashamed, embarrassed, or feels that she has zero control over what she may be going through during her time. So I normalize it. Like it's super normal, like in this house. Like they know when I'm on it. And also because every month is completely different. My emotions are different. Maybe I have cravings, maybe I don't, maybe I'm overly sensitive and I'm crying over any little thing. It's things like that I wasn't brought up that way. Like we didn't talk about those things. I just personally made it a point to make that type of communication important in our lives, in my family, in my household, because that's how comfortable I want us to feel, and because I want us to be supportive of one another when we are struggling, when we are going through some tough days. And it's awesome because my 16-year-old is very sensitive towards that and gives me my space and will ask me like, are you okay? Or, well, how are you feeling today? And that's freaking beautiful. That is so beautiful. And then my daughter gets to feel normal and she gets to feel accepted and doesn't feel weird. And it's okay if she's having a rough day. Like we talk about that, because that's really the essence of when us women go through that. It's more of the, what, like I'm a little sensitive right now. What, I don't know what's going on, and I don't feel like I have control over it at this moment, or tomorrow will be a better day. It's just opening up that line of communication. So I grew up with a lot of girlfriends who, um it was normal for no one in their household to say I love you to each other, to give each other hugs and kisses. That's one thing I'm super grateful about my mom, is that my mom would have, even though she was like a tough lady on us, like most Hispanic moms, um, my mom was also very good at being nurturing in that sense, loving on us, hugging us, kissing us, saying I love you, and always, definitely being very clear on how she wanted to make sure that my sister and I grew up, um, without having to struggle as much as she did. That was definitely something that she always made it a point. So I always found it odd and weird, going over to like certain friends that, that they didn't hug and kiss and, embrace each other like that, and they'd say I love you to each other. And so obviously, I definitely pass that on to my family, my children. So we're always saying I love you, always saying I love you to each other, and always hugging and kissing each other, always. And I remember my kids were in elementary school, and I remember when they came home one day and they were like, Mom, like, can you believe, like some of my friends, like their moms don't say I love you, to them or hug and kiss them. And they thought it was like the weirdest thing ever, right? And I just kindly explained to them, like, honey, like, doesn't mean that they don't love them. It's just a different way of showing it. And maybe they weren't brought up that way. So for them, it's normal not to do that, right? So again, we have a power to look back at our childhood, at our upbringings. And okay, yeah, we all have traumas, we all have struggles that we went through and everything, but we don't have to live in that space all the time. We don't have to justify our own mistakes because, well, that's how we were raised, or that's how, because again, now we're just repeating what our parents did. If there's something that you remember having to go through, as a kid yourself, as a young adult, and you don't want that, then let's change that. Then let's start having communications. Let's start finding ways, solutions to those kind of problems. Again, starting with one thing at a time, starting with one area at a time, just going from there, but having the ability, because we have the awareness, knowing that we really can make all those changes. We really can be the leaders of our families. We really can be the ones to start new habits, starting new cycles, and getting rid of as much generational trauma as we possibly can. And this is a lifelong journey. And again, it's trial and error. Not everything's going to work, or, you may have to continuously make some tweaks and changes along the way. Nothing has to be permanent, and that's okay. And it's not going to be permanent because think about it, like, as we're growing, our kids are growing. As we're evolving, our kids are evolving. So there is going to be some change. Things are going to be looking different from time to time. And maybe some things are never going to change, and they're going to stay the same. And that's okay too. So again, I just want to applaud everybody for being on the journey that you're on, for believing in yourself, for wanting bigger, better, for catering to that creative side of yours, or that um, motivational side of yours, inspiring side of yours, that wants to spread love, wants to spread kindness, wants to be of service. um, Please, let's keep doing it. Let's keep spreading it. Those that want to make the changes in our families, let's keep making those changes. Let's keep, leaning on each other for support as a community. Start having conversations. Let's just start. Let's just start. Let's keep going. There's hope. There is so much hope because there's so much faith that we can totally make all the changes that we need to make in order to live a better and just more purposeful, purpose filled life. If that's what you want, then that's what you can have. Take the proper steps, keep going forward. Everything's going to unfold right before your eyes. All your hard work is going to pay off. And again, there's so much room and space for all of us to thrive and succeed in this world. So I am beyond proud of all of us. Keep doing it. And if you need any place to start, of just anywhere, reach out to people, reach out to whomever you feel like maybe this person can help me out or help me get going. Like, people want to help people, like they really do. And if you ever reach out to someone who doesn't want to help you, or isn't kind or compassionate, okay, thank you, next. That's it. That's it. Same thing with like any negative thoughts coming into our heads. Like when we're on a roll of something positive, something great, sometimes fear and doubt will set in and want to take us out of that positive space. You got to say no thank you. Like, yeah, no thank you. And just keep moving forward. Keep believing in yourself. Keep doing everything that aligns to your heart, that feels completely authentic. And that is it. Keep spreading it. Keep doing it. I believe in you. Believe in you. Believe in me. We've got this. So happy, happy day. Thank you again for taking your time out of your busy day to watch this or to hear this. Love you guys so, so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.